Hello and welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. We begin with updates from the past week on the city's budget process for the 2027 fiscal year, as local leaders continue discussions after Mayor Charlie Sisitsky's initial budget proposal, worth roughly $402 million, was rejected in early May by the City Council. That plan would have led to a 4.5% increase to the local tax levy rate compared to the 2.5% rise seen in recent years, while also resulting in further reductions to municipal department requests, as well as the use of $14 million of the $21 million in free cash that Framingham has on hand right now. In turn, multiple members of the council's finance subcommittee expressed support for a public vote on a possible tax override during their meeting last Thursday, May 7th, as a way to put major financial decisions into the hands of residents in the future. District 6 City Council member Phil Ottaviani called last Thursday's meeting a quote-unquote reality check.
This, a 4.5% tax increase, $14 million out of free cash. We're on a cliff, and we're on a path to destruction. And if we don't get the brakes and figure something out now, next year is going to be twice as difficult, maybe worse.
Fast forward to the subcommittee's meeting on Wednesday, May 13th, where Sisitsky and his administration outlined the foundation of the new plan that they're currently working on. Around $398 million in total expenses, covered by a 3.5% tax levy raise and the use of $10 million in free cash. It's not without reductions, though, as about $1.2 million for Framingham Public Schools are included in the proposal plan at this point. However, Sisitsky had mentioned that any additional Chapter 70 aid provided from the state level in the coming weeks would be allocated to FPS for FY27. Other possible reductions include level funding for municipal departments, along with less overtime funding for the city's police and fire departments. Councilors were split on the new framework. At-large member George King called the plan, quote-unquote, vastly improved, while Michael Cannon of District 4 said he still cannot support the new proposal.
I think you listen to us, and I think it gets it not to a great area, but I think it gets us to a place that I could support.
I really worry about where we are. Certainly some expenses, a lot of them have gone up, but they haven't gone up in a way that equates to this mathing.
The Finance Subcommittee is set to meet again next Wednesday, May 20th. The 2027 fiscal year starts on July 1st, meaning Framingham officials have to have a budget plan in place by the end of June. Local and state officials took part in a groundbreaking ceremony for Framingham's new courthouse complex this past Friday, May 8th. Leaders gathered at the Thomas Danforth building along Union Avenue to commemorate the official start of a $174 million renovation project, as all of the Middlesex County District Courts, along with other legal resources and offices, are slated to be brought under one roof at the 116,000 square foot Regional Justice Center. The new facility is set to replace the current courthouse along Concord Street. In an interview with The Frame right before Friday's event, State Senate President Karen Spilka said the project can also act as a way to spur economic development within the community.
We really are not only enlarging the scope of the courthouses that will be there, but increasing access to justice at the same time of increasing economic activity. And that will help Framingham. That will help collect revenue. That will help the Commonwealth.
The Danforth site, which was transferred from local to state control in January of 2025, was chosen for this plan in part due to its proximity to public transportation sources like the MBTA and the MWRTA. After the new courthouse opens, which officials project will be in the summer of 2029, Spilka hopes the center can be one of multiple quote-unquote anchors for downtown Framingham's continued development.
It's growing, it's thriving, but we can do more, we can do better. It's there now, but we can certainly build on it with a full array of services and programs and restaurants and music and culture.
A local nonprofit that's been around for decades now has a new name. For years, the Marlborough-based organization, formerly known as Employment Options, has assisted individuals and families with mental health recovery across the MetroWest region, as they've offered advocacy alongside resources in education, employment, and more aspects of everyday life. Now, they'll be going by a new name, Novus. In an interview with The Frame, Executive Director Shannon Leary explained the new identity looks to emphasize revival and renewal. When the organization started the process of determining a new name about a year ago, she said they wanted to capture more than just employment resources, as the nonprofit looks to emphasize the people who make Novus what it is today through their clubhouse model.
We felt that there would be people called that would feel that we were a staffing agency or just focus on employment, and we just do so much more. The Clubhouse community, we cannot do it without our membership, and staff and members are really true partners. And so we know transformation happens, and it really starts with us.
More details on that Novus story, along with all of the top stories we cover each week on the program, can be found on our website, www.theframe.news. There you can find full written articles, feature pieces completed across Framingham, and a calendar filled with upcoming local events. Subscribe to our email newsletter as well, so that you're always up to date with Framingham news in focus. For the rest of the way, we're happy to invite Elizabeth Plessé into the anchor chair. Liz?
Thank you, Brendan. MassBay Community College's Health Science Division conducted some large-scale training through their Disaster Day exercise in Framingham on Thursday, May 7th. The interprofessional drill simulated the scenario of an explosion by an outdoor music festival as students, staff members, and community partners worked to react to the situation. Through Disaster Day, the school aims to provide hands-on training for students with circumstances that could happen in the real world in order to improve their decision-making, teamwork, and care for patients on the fly. Students from MassBay's EMS, nursing, surgical technology, and radiologic technology programs worked to treat 100 acting patients who were brought into the exercise with simulated injuries and symptoms. Students from Keefe Tech and Marlborough High School also took part in Disaster Day, as MassBay's campus was turned into an operational hospital for the exercise. The Framingham Fire Department collaborated with MassBay for Disaster Day, along with other local emergency personnel, as well as Riverside Community Care and Trauma Center. It's now time for our Play of the Week segment, presented by our friends over at the Framingham Education Channel. They were on hand to cover the Framingham High girls lacrosse game last Tuesday, May 12th, against Needham. After carrying the ball across midfield, Framingham was looking to set up shop in the attacking zone. After scanning the field, all it took was one cut towards the goal before the pass was made and the ball hit the back of the net. However, the Flyers did unfortunately lose in the end. The Framingham Education Channel will be back on the airwaves this upcoming Tuesday, May 19th, for the upcoming FHS boys volleyball game. The Flyers will be taking on Milton High School at their home gym. Coverage will start at 4 o'clock that afternoon. FEC TV is Comcast Channel 8, Verizon Channel 41, and RCN Channel 15. A full replay of the game will also be uploaded to Access Framingham's channel on YouTube. As always, more local coverage can be found on our social media pages. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @FrameNews_ and search for The Frame on Facebook as well. Subscribe to Access Framingham's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever new content goes live. Full episodes of The Frame are also available for you to watch or listen to on Spotify. We encourage you to follow us there. That'll do it for this week's Framingham News in Focus. On behalf of the entire Frame team, thanks for joining us, and a very special thank you to our own Lilia Cormack, who will be leaving Access Framingham at the end of this week. If you have enjoyed any of our feature pieces or episodes of AFTV Tries It over the past year and a half, you've got her to thank. We're wishing Lilia nothing but the best moving forward. I'm Liz Plessé. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.